California, the golden dream of America. For over half a century, it was the ultimate destination, a place where people went to make it. But in 2025, that dream looks different because for the first time in decades, more people are leaving California than coming in. And the number one state they're heading to? Arizona. Now, that might sound surprising. You'd think people would head for the beaches of Florida or the skyscrapers of Texas. But no, they're heading for the desert. And once you see the numbers, it's not hard to understand why. Let's start with California. The average cost of a home in the state is now around $780,000. In Los Angeles, it's pushing past $1 million. San Francisco? Forget it. $1.3 million for a basic home. That means if you're earning the average California household income, about $92,000 a year, you're spending over half your take-home pay on housing alone. And it's not just home prices. Gas averages $5.40 a gallon. Groceries are 25% higher than the national average, and property taxes can easily run over $8,000 a year for a modest home. Then add in overcrowded highways, rising crime, homelessness, wildfires, and a constant sense of burnout. And you start to see why people are asking a simple question. Why am I paying this much to live like this? Just one state over, you've got Arizona, a place that 20 years ago, most people thought of as just dessert. Now, it's one of the fastest growing states in America. The average home price in Arizona sits around $420,000. That's nearly half the cost of a California home. In cities like Tucson, it's closer to $340,000. Even in Phoenix, which has exploded in growth, the average price is around $450,000. And the best part? You actually get space. For the same price as a one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, you could own a 2,000 square foot home with a yard in Chandler or Gilbert, complete with mountain views, palm trees, and actual peace and quiet. The real story starts here. Phoenix, once a sleepy retirement city, now it's one of the top 5 fastest growing metros in the entire country. Between 2020 and 2024, Maricopa County gained over 160,000 new residents, more than any other county in America. And it's not slowing down. New neighborhoods are appearing almost overnight. You drive through areas like Queen Creek, Goodyear, Buckeye, and you'll see construction on every street. Homes that were $300,000 in 2019 are now $500,000 in 2025. That's a 65% jump in just a few years. It's what some call the Texas effect, when people flood into an affordable state, driving up demand and reshaping everything. But here's the thing, even with those price increases, Arizona still feels like a bargain compared to California. Let's look at the numbers. If you're selling a $900,000 house in California, you can move to Arizona, buy a $450,000 home outright, and still have $500,000 left over. That's enough to invest, start a business, or simply breathe a little. And that's exactly what people are doing. In fact, Arizona is now one of the top 5 inbound migration states in the U.S., with most newcomers coming directly from California. Real estate agents in Phoenix and Tucson report that nearly 40% of their buyers are from out of state, and half of those are from California zip codes. So, where are all these new Arizonans going? Let's break it down. Phoenix, the heartbeat of the state. Endless sunshine, strong job market, and a booming tech scene. Average home, $450,000. Rent for a modern apartment, around $1,700 a month. But that's climbing fast. Scottsdale, California lifestyle without California headaches. Upscale shopping, palm-lined streets, golf courses, nightlife. Home prices average $700,000, but it's the clean, safe, luxury side of the desert. Mesa, family-friendly and affordable, with new communities everywhere. Average home, $430,000. Rent, around $1,500 a month. Chandler and Gilbert, suburban comfort, great schools, new developments. Tons of Californians are relocating here, especially families and remote workers. Average home, $480,000. Tucson, slower pace, more affordable, and surrounded by mountains. Average home, $340,000. It's popular with retirees and people who want smaller city energy. Flagstaff, cooler weather, pine forests, and a totally different vibe. Home prices are higher here, around $600,000. But it's a mountain escape for those fleeing the California coast. Together, these cities paint a picture of what California used to promise: a mix of growth, affordability, and sunshine. The big reason people can move now is because work has changed. Remote work has made location optional, and Arizona's cost of living makes it a no-brainer. But here's what's interesting. Companies are following the people. Arizona is now home to massive investments. Intel's new $20 billion semiconductor facility in Chandler, Taiwan. Semiconductor's $40 billion plant in North Phoenix, and dozens of logistics, solar, and EV companies setting up shop statewide. That's tens of thousands of new jobs, and billions flowing into the state's economy. Combine that with no natural disasters like wildfires or earthquakes, and Arizona looks like a pretty safe bet for the long run. But, and there's always a but, growth comes with a price. Phoenix traffic getting worse every year. Rent up 38% since 2020. And housing affordability is starting to stretch thin even for locals. Water is another issue. Arizona's reservoirs are dropping, and while new infrastructure is being built, many worry that population growth could outpace supply in the next decade. Still, most experts say Arizona is adapting faster than people think, especially with the new water agreements and tech-driven conservation projects. Here's what's drawing people most: the lifestyle. In Arizona, life just feels easier. You've got 300 days of sunshine, incredible national parks like Sedona and the Grand Canyon, a growing food and art scene in downtown Phoenix and Tucson, and a community that's welcoming, diverse, and still affordable enough to enjoy life. You can drive to work in 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. You can hike in the morning, grab tacos for lunch, and watch the sunset over the mountains, all without fighting traffic on the 405. For many Californians, it's not just a move, it's a mental reset. So, where is all this heading? If the trend continues, Arizona could gain another 1 million residents by 2030. That means more development, higher property values, and growing influence on the national stage. But the challenge will be keeping that Arizona feel, the openness, the balance, the calm. Because if history repeats itself, the same forces that pushed people out of California could eventually start showing up in Arizona too. But for now, it's clear. People aren't just fleeing California's chaos, they're chasing Arizona's clarity. For decades, California was the American dream. But dreams evolve, and right now, Arizona feels like a new version of that dream. Simpler, warmer, and just a little more real. A place where people can build again, where families can start fresh, where the future still feels wide open. This isn't just a migration, it's a mindset shift. From chaos to calm, from burnout to balance, from California to Arizona. This is the rise of Arizona and beyond. Every place has its moment, and right now, it's Arizona's. Subscribe to see where the next shift happens.